Hello everyone. Can you pause the video for a second and tell me what's going on in this chest X-ray? I would like you all to pause the video. This is a normal chest X-ray, and today I'm discussing a normal chest X-ray because I have learned in my training period that most of the medical students can't even recognize or describe a normal chest X-ray. So first we will start with a normal one, then we will move on to the abnormal ones. So how should you read a normal chest X-ray? For a normal chest X-ray, you always move from the periphery to the center. So what can you see in the periphery? First of all, appreciate the structures within the periphery, and those are the bones. You see the bones within the periphery. The first bone that you can see in the periphery are your clavicles. The second bones that you can see in the periphery are the scapula. Then what can you see in the periphery? The shadow of the ribs as they angle the posterior ribs as they become the anterior ribs. You can see the angle, the shadow of the ribs here. Then you are coming towards the center. What do you see in the center? In the center of the chest X-ray, you see the lungs. No, first of all, we will go with the ribs. These are the posterior ribs. Posterior ribs are always visible, highly visible within the chest X-ray, whereas the anterior ribs are not that easily appreciated. Now, how can you see the anterior ribs? Just check the angle of the posterior ribs, how the posterior ribs are angling towards the front. Follow that angle and you will appreciate the anterior rib. For this rib, for example, for this rib, we will go like this, and you can see that's the anterior rib, the one angling towards the front. Here again, another anterior rib. Here again, another anterior rib. So the ribs that are angled on the chest X-ray and are not easily appreciated are the anterior ribs. The ribs that are more horizontal and more easily appreciated are the posterior ribs. Now, how many anterior and posterior ribs can you count on a normal chest X-ray? On a normal chest X-ray, you can appreciate up to 9 to 10 posterior ribs and up to 5 to 7 anterior ribs. Now, let's count the posterior ribs in this section. First rib is always anterior. Okay, then we will come upon here. I think the first rib was anterior. Now let's count the ribs. The posterior ribs first. You see here is the first one. Then you can see the second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can appreciate 10 posterior ribs. Now we come upon the anterior ribs. This is the first anterior rib, this is the second anterior rib, this is the third anterior rib, this is the fourth anterior rib, this is the fifth anterior rib, 6, 7. We can appreciate almost 8 anterior ribs. Now this means that the exposure is very good. The X-ray has a very good exposure. Now how can your X-ray have a good exposure? You always take X-ray in PA view, posterior anterior view, and the X-ray should be taken when the patient inspires, should be taken during inspiration. So now we are done with the ribs. Coming more towards the center, we have the lungs. This whole portion of the X-ray, these are the lungs. Lungs are always filled with air, so they will always appear black with slight markings. What are these markings that we can see in the lungs? These markings, these ones here, these are known as the bronchovascular markings. Bronchovascular markings are actually the bronchi that are entering the lungs, and the vessels that are leaving or entering the lungs. So there's one more thing that you might have studied, and that is the hilum. This portion is the hilum of the lung. What is the hilum of the lung? The hilum of the lung जो है is the portion where the lymph nodes, the vessels, and the bronchi enter or leave the lung. This is what the hilum of the lung looks like. This is the hilum of the lung. Then we come upon the other structures that are present here. First of all, we will look at the diaphragm. This whole portion here, this is the diaphragm of the lung. Now you will ask me, what is this thing, this hyperlucent area? What is this? These are actually the fatty tissue of the breast. The fatty tissue of the breast appears white, and so that's why you should not be confused with this structure when you see it on the chest X-ray. These are actually the breast. This is the X-ray of a female patient, and these are actually the breasts of the female patient. Many students confuse these breasts with some pathology that might be occurring on the X-ray. So this is not a pathology, okay? This is the normal chest X-ray with of a female whose breast shadow is appearing on the X-ray. So the second thing we can see is the dome of the diaphragm. After the dome of the diaphragm, what is the thing that you see here? This is known as the gastric bubble. Gastric bubble is also normal. It should not. Many students confuse it with pneumoperitoneum, that is the air within the peritoneum or air within the pleural cavity. No, this is a normal. This is normal, the gastric bubble. It's normal. Now coming more towards the center, what we can see the heart. How would you identify the chambers of the heart on the chest X-ray? This area here, this is the left atrium. This area here, this is the left ventricle. This all area here, this is the right ventricle. Right atrium is not that easily appreciated on chest X-ray. Then we come upon this area here, the sixth. Structure number 6 is the aortic knuckle, and it is the part where the aorta is leaving the heart. Though the ascending aorta, it becomes the descending aorta, and that area forms a little bit of a turn. That turn is known as the knuckle. So this is the aortic knuckle. After the aortic knuckle, what structure can you see here? I would zoom it for you. This is structure that you can appreciate here. This is your vertebra. This is not a trachea, okay? This is your vertebra. All this, see? You can see here. This is your vertebra. Notice these two. The intervertebral bodies. And just in front of the vertebra, you can see the slight shadow of the trachea. This is your trachea. Now there's one more thing that I would like to show you within this X-ray. Focus on the structure here, a diamond-like structure. A diamond-like structure here. This is known as the spinous process. Now, why is the spinous process important? Spinous process allows you to know the rotation of the patient. Spinous process is centrally located between the two clavicles. So it's if the spinous process is at equal distance from both the clavicles, patient is not rotated. But if the spinous process is nearer to one of the clavicles, the patient is rotated towards that side. For example, the spinous process is towards the left clavicle, near to the left clavicle. The patient was rotated towards the left side, so more rotated towards the left side. So this is the normal anatomy of your chest X-ray, a normal chest X-ray, and this is how you should appreciate the structures on a normal chest X-ray. This was all for the video. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments below, and that was all. Thank you.